I suppose a small version of a cyclone city to be anything like paraglider or parachute. In fact, it is something more to stitch than to build. On a first approximation, it will be designed as paraglider, however, with more complicated form, a screw instead of a straight wing. Due to the fact that living wing area of that city will be small in size, you can hardly locate large number of peoples directly inside the paraglider, which is several tens of meters in diameter. So to start with, in the very first relatively small specimens, it will be possible to live at paraglider harness system. It is pictured as a yellow ring, which is suspended below the wings. This is meant to be the residential area where we can locate either simple housing or frame equipped with trampolines for exploration of a new life aspect. The ring rotates as there is a centrifugal force. Therefore, we will have an opportunity to examine if it is possible for human to live in constant motion on the nets. Furthermore, in small cyclone cities, ascending air will be used instead of the cyclone. So the construction is a bit different. The central part consists of a screw or screw turbine, one of those widely used in wind power generators. It has a number of features. First, in weak wind is enough to rotate it. Second, it is absolutely noiseless. Because our city is small, we don't have an opportunity to install a great soundproofing system in it. And soundproofing is very important. Third, this screw turbine can fully use updraft energy, unlike power generators, which are able to use 59% of such energy in maximum. As we cannot create a cyclone at the moment, we intend to use this ascending air energy. Contrary to popular belief, ascending air shouldn't be hot, but wet. When the air is full of vapor, its density reduces one-half. That means that the updraft where paragliders float is not hotter than the environment air, but wetter. It is assumed to create such an updraft with a wind catcher, which was discussed before. A system of so-called wells connected to each other by horizontal tunnels should be constructed. There is water within these tunnels filling them for the half. To be more exact, water running through the tunnel's bottom and the wind flowing over the top. Each well is made as a wind catcher. There are examples of it we can see in Arabic air ventilation system. There is something of a pipe type with kind of trumpets sticking out right and left and able to catch the wind. No matter which way the wind blows, because it will plump into the tunnel anyway. This is the case of an increased air pressure inside the well. Air rushes down under the wind pressure, then plumps into the horizontal tunnel with water, and when the wind is flowing across the water, this leads to its evaporation and saturates the air. All the tunnels join together in a central well, where the air is saturated and has low density. Besides, it is intorted, as the tunnels penetrate into the well at an angle. Because of the low pressure and the fact that the air rarefies and blows upwards, updraft emerges and somehow sucks the air through the tunnels. This updraft leaves through the central well, and above it we can see what is painted black on the picture, a parachute or a paraglider itself. Something that should be made of light strong cloth, the same cloth as the parachute wings are made of. This construction allows to use a few fabrics and not contributes any complicated technologies. It can be sewn beside the cloth works in tension. By means of it, we can receive a very serviceable fabric, as the fabric works in tension is more durable than the works in compression. the modern synth fibers have stretched more than 10 times higher than steel wires of the same weight. On a first approximation, the wind generator is something like the Archimedes screw or its derivatives raised vertically. Updraft forces it to rotate by clumping upwards. The wings are installed on the top of it. Each wing is a paraglider. An inflatable textile wing being rotated creates ascensional power which can lift these wide sloping surfaces suspended on slings. Thus parachute shroud lines are schematically depicted. There are ropes with a textile that serves as a sail, so the air will flow over ground surface all round to the screw, which allows the use of sails for backspin. The actual load is on the yellow ring, which is suspended under all these wings. It actually serves as a paraglider's seat in the shape of the ring. The ring has several functions. First, this is kind of an anchor that prevents the whole structure from flying under the influence of upstream and local winds. You can put some ballast onto this ring-shaped pad, for instance. You can arrange some stockroom which will prevent this wind generator from flying away. Second, it may serve as a vehicle. The ring is spinning around, representing a ring-shaped belt system. It means that you can put something in it, you can step on it, and move along the circular road. Third, it may serve as generator drive. The ring, under the weight of the freight installed, hugs the rollers. In other words, the ring rotates, hugs the rollers, it causes the rollers to rotate too. They rotate the shaft generator in return. The fourth, it is alive on the net's tryout, which is suggested to cyclone cities. The trampolines and living cells are set under this ring where people can try this way of life. This ring can be realized as a space frame, made of tubes or wooden slats with the nets pulled on. It will be entirely a trampoline. Thereby, in general terms, a small version of the cyclone city, which operates not on a cyclone power but on an updraft, can be arranged, meaning the cyclone to be the limit case for the updraft evolution. One of the hypotheses assumes that there is ionized gas inside the terrestrial field, but there is for further investigations. However, updrafts are readily available. We won't have to deal with a hurricane. There is also another important aspect. The important thing is to strengthen the paraglider by a frame, not a solid one. This construction is often called tensegrity. There are metal pipes and rods pulled together by the cables, and the shape of this structure is supported not by the compression, but by the tension. This is a kind of suspension bridge. This frame is very light and durable. In case of any damage, it automatically redistributes the load. This construction is fault tolerant. It can put a paraglider into an initial shape. Initially, the cloth is just lying on the ground, but the frame makes it possible to put the construction into a shape of a screw with wings. The main feature of those frames, made of planks held together with ropes, is that they too initially lie on the ground compactly folded. But as soon as you pull these planks and ropes, the whole structure raises above the ground. It's a quick mountain building technology, something like a tent, which is able to reveal itself. The wind generator itself is a box structure, not as flat as on the figure, but thicker. So the paraglider is generally two layers of cloth with multiple layers between. Ribs and frame are embedded into this cloth. and it seems to be covered with this paraglider, like skin stretched over bones. They are supposed to be used in space settlements, for example. Folded, they occupy very little space, and once somebody pulls the ropes, hefty habitat structure arises. Being tested, such frames, covered with a cloth, were placed into an air tunnel and blew off. They withstand even gale. You can feel certain of stability of this structure to the strong gusts of wind. The groundwork is motionless under the ring, the brown on the figure. Of course it is. We shall install some latches to control the power of wind in each wheel. There are two oppositely directed forces. The wind turbine tends to lift the ring up, and force to gravity balances it and press down. By adjusting the amount of load and the air in the tunnel, and by the steering the paraglider, we can get some balance and be sure that the ring rotates on more or less same altitude. Yes, it should. First, it must be possible to close the air supply channels. Second, the framework should be easily foldable. Once you weaken the ropes or planks it consists of, make them extensile. I suggest to use inflatable ballonets that looks like balloons in the shape of sausage. We can release the air from the inflatable beams or weaken the tension of the ropes. And the wind turbine gradually folds itself because it's not able to keep the shape. Also, we can pull the slings to hitch in. It can be inflated by the hot air or buoyant gas. An aerostat will result it, which can rise to a considerable height if we want to stop it, while inertia is sufficient. It will rocket like a propeller and will float in the air like an aerostat by means of ascensional power. It can fly away under the influence of wind, and when either the air inside it cools down or a gas will be released through the cover, it will make a soft landing by autorotation. And when it starts to drop, it looks like as if helicopter flies with engine off. Airflow would spin the whole construction, and it will work as a rotating parachute. According to this principle, space rocket should have been landed. There is a project Roton, which is created for a soft landing of launch vehicle. A steering should be installed so that the structure can fly controllable. But if it falls straight down, the control is maintained. Then you need automation, which will pull the paraglider controls just before the ground. Some paragliders allow this option. Many times I saw parachutists land. They move downwards, and it even seems that they are so crash soon, but then, before the ground, they quickly pull the brakes, which cover all the air ducts in the wing, and they just enter upon the ground. They never fall, but stand on their feet. That's good enough. I cannot see any problem in converting the paraglider into the aerodynamic brake.